Alright, so I want to make this review quick. So I went to go see Stuber recently, which is this new comedy film starring Dave Bautista and Kumail Nanjiani. Now, I have been sort of a fan of Kumail Nanjiani ever since the 2017 film The Big Sick came out. I feel like Nanjiani is a really talented comedian and actor at the same time, and Dave Bautista is always a great actor to have in your film, especially in like Guardians of the Galaxy. But with this film, on the other hand, I just feel like it was an absolutely terrible excuse for a comedy. Now, this isn't the worst film I've seen all year, but this is certainly, one of the top 10, to say the least. So let's get into this film. So the basic premise is Stu, or Stuber, as he's known by one of his co-workers, is an Uber driver in Los Angeles that works at a sporting goods store. And there's a cop played by Dave Bautista who is looking for a ride in order to get to a crime scene. And there's hijinks ensue between the driver and the cop. And the cop's a tough guy, and the Uber driver is not that. Is the complete opposite. And they gotta work together. And okay, you guys clearly see where this is going. Yeah, it's one of those films that's very predictable, and you easily know what's going to happen at almost every scene, and if it's not what you think is going to happen, it's something that came very close in second place. I mean, don't get me wrong, Nanjiani and Bautista work with what they have, and they give it their all, but the script is just not really that great to begin with. I mean, if I could say one thing about Stuber, is that this film is very cliche. There are many plot elements in this film that I have seen in countless other comedy action films to this point. I mean, just to give you guys an example, there's a point where Dave Bautista is meeting up with his daughter and he just gets eye surgery, and the daughter is acting so nasty to him, being like, oh, come to my art show, da-da-da-da-da, and he's like, I don't know if I'll be able to make it or whatever, because he's a guy who loves his job so much and that he gets distracted from his own family. So, and we honestly know where that's gonna go towards the end of the film, and there's no point even me spoiling it. And then you have, the boss that's an absolute asshole to Stu, who just makes all these terrible and unneeded sex jokes, and who is just a total clown, something like out of American Pie almost, only worse. Another thing I have to say also too is that Dave Bautista is not generally very likable in this film. Yes, he plays a tough cop, but he plays a tough cop who's not very sympathetic. Yes, he did have rough moments in his childhood, but the way he acts towards Stu, and especially other people around him, just makes me want to punch him necessarily. I mean, I know I'd get my ass beaten by him in real life, but still, he's not a very likable guy, especially when he's going after Stu for being weak. But Stu has some very valid points against him. And I just feel like that there's so much targeting around Stu in this film that's unnecessary. But to get to Stu for a little bit, yeah, he's not very likable too, especially in one scene when he's dealing with sort of a crush and when they're breaking it off. Let's just say that scene is really uncomfortable, it is disappointing, it is unneeded, and it is just pretty much the biggest killjoy of the entire film. And let's see, what else can I say about the film? Oh yeah, another cool thing about it, though, the one positive thing is that the editing for the opening title sequence was really nice, but other than that, there wasn't that same kind of editing throughout the film. I wish it would have been there, because it would have made the film a lot more interesting to watch, but sadly we just get our standard action movie editing, fast cuts during action sequences, and just regular normal cuts during conversational points. Also, I know this film is supposed to be an action comedy, but there were many points that just felt way overblown, like, explosions or fight scenes. Like, it just feels like this. Not every film needs to be in the Matrix, guys. It's okay if you can take a break for once. Yeah, and then there are also other plot points in the film that make absolutely no sense. I don't want to get into them right now because they'll kind of spoil the film, but once you see them, it'll really get on your skin, especially towards the beginning of the film. So yeah, there's not really much else to say about Stuber other than it's a very cliche, generic film that you can get pretty much off the shelf of any, blockbuster multiplex. nowadays. I'm gonna give Stuber a 4 out of 10. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. Did you like Stuber? Did you hate it? Let's find out in the comments down below. Make sure to please share and like this video. And if you enjoy more videos, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Till again, this is Intermission Reviews, signing off.